Hey, what's going on guys? John here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the iPad mini. And if you guys were one of the lucky ones to get your hands on the purple iPad mini, consider yourself very lucky, because up here in Canada at least, it is completely sold out, at least until the next little while. Now, as much as I am excited for the iPad mini and how beautiful it looks and how just amazingly thin and just versatile it is, there are a lot of things that I am not very happy about. With everything they highlighted in this device, I thought there would have been more compared to the iPad Pro. Now I know it's just a mini budget version, but I think I was expecting a little bit too much. And in today's video, let's talk about all the things I dislike about the iPad mini. Alright, so first things first, the iPad mini dislikes are not really major. I think they're more of minor gripes that I have personally, but I am just gonna still leave it up on the title for clickbait reasons. But these are at least the 10 things that I hate about the iPad mini very much. Alright, so to start off this video, the first thing I really dislike about the iPad mini is the inclusion of this Touch ID lock button right up top here. Now I know is one of the highlighted features of the iPad Air and the iPad mini, but trust me guys, it's not so good on the iPad mini compared to the iPad Air. Now you guys are probably wondering why it's better on the iPad Air and not so much the iPad mini. Well, let me explain. The iPad mini is a lot smaller, and when you are using it, you are probably going to be grabbing the entire device just like this. And then most of the times your fingers are resting like this or like this, and you guys are surely going to click it. Trust me, if you guys are disappointed in what I say about the iPad mini, you guys are probably going to be clicking it at least 10 times throughout the week, just accidentally. I've clicked it at least 10 times throughout the last 2 days of using it. Now don't take me wrong, there is no real better way other than Face ID than to have the lock button right up top here. However, I do think Apple can implement it a little bit better. Now keep in mind, it is a little bit smaller on the iPad Air and the other iPads without Touch ID inside versus this one here. Hopefully Apple can find a better way of replacing it, putting it somewhere else. But for the time being, this button right here causes me so much trouble. Most of the time, I'm clicking it by accident. So while we're on the topic of the lock button, Touch ID is another thing here. It is not fast enough. And if you guys checked out my previous video, you know what I mean. Now, unlike the iPhone 6s and pretty much every other Touch ID device other than the first generations, things happen really instantaneous. As soon as you click the button, you are in. But for this device, whatever the reason might be, Apple has decided to delay it just a little bit here, so it never really logs in. You have to hold your finger on it and then it will pop in, or the other way to do it is just click and then you have to swipe from the bottom up to get inside. Alright, so third on the list, we have speakers. Now, if you guys have tried out pretty much every iPad Pro out there, there is quad speakers inside. Now, not to say that the iPad mini speaker is not amazing, but it doesn't have quad speakers. They're just dual speakers, but you will see that there is 4 different places for audio to come out. Apple has decided to just block off 2. Maybe 2 of them are microphones, but realistically, you don't need microphones all over the device. You have one at the back, you have one at the front, you have one up here and one here. Now, this is not microphone heaven or anything. It's nothing compared to a Rode microphone, but for some reason, Apple has decided to just give us 2 audio ports, one at the top and one at the bottom. Gives us sort of a 3D sound, a stereo sound, but not so much like the iPad Pros. Now, I do want to touch up a little bit more on that one. They placed it in a very odd place where most of the time is muffled up when you are using the device for movies and for playing games. The ones at the bottom here and the ones at the bottom on the other side are the ones that you hold the device over when you do grab your iPad. So if we hold it like this and we hold it like this, we pretty much muffle up the entire speaker audio. They could have placed it up top on both devices, but no, they decided to place it right next to the volume rockers. Alright, so for the fifth one here, this is 120 Hertz Promotion. We already know and talked about this many times, but it did not come onto the iPad mini, unfortunately. And that is a real bummer because the iPads all need promotion. They are a much bigger display, and with a bigger display, there is much more room for the app to travel from side to side, which means you will really notice the delay. Now, not so much on the iPhone 13. I do have the iPhone 13 with me, compared right next to the iPhone 12, and realistically, I have to squint, I have to try it so hard to notice the difference. All the people out there saying that the promotion on the iPhone 13 is amazing, sure, it is. but it is not noticeable enough for you to really want it. So one thing I really want with the iPad mini is that promotion comes along with it. Alright, now on to the sixth one here. You will notice that we do have LCD versus the black bezels. You're going to notice regardless of what you're doing with a black display at the back. This is especially noticeable with movies playing in the back that does not have any color to it. OLED would definitely fix this, but Apple has decided that OLED is too expensive for the iPad mini, so that's that, and hopefully the iPad next gen is going to come along with that. Alright, so I've been talking a lot about hardware related stuff, and a lot of them can be resolved with software. Now it's just going to be waiting for Apple to push out a software update to resolve all these things. But now let's talk about Apple's design choice for the iPad mini for iOS 15. Right now, the first thing I've noticed is the padding is extremely weird. You can notice that the padding on the sides are extremely huge. The app should realistically be spread out a little bit, but Apple has decided to just clump them right together, which it doesn't make sense to me. But like I said, this is pretty much software related, so it's definitely can be fixed if they wanted to. Alright, so just two more things here. The second last one is the weird aspect ratio of the iPad mini. They did not keep the typical 16:9. They chose some weird resolution. So now when you guys try to watch a video or anything like that, let's jump into Tubi for example, and you try to play a video, you're gonna get bigger bars than you really have. So if you take a look at right here, you will notice that the bar is much bigger, and it's definitely more noticeable when you do click inside something like this. There is a black bar right where the 16:9 is supposed to be. I think it's too wide for what the resolution is for, and this is nothing that Apple can really do at this point. You either want a big wide screen or you don't, so we'll have to live with this. And I think Apple can maybe try to do something to stretch this out in the future. Alright, so on to the last one finally. This has to do with the color. Now I know a lot of us are gonna say that the color is perfect or is not perfect. This is all preference wise, but I don't think the purple is described how it was described online. If you do go onto apple.com and you compare the colors, you're gonna notice that this doesn't really look purple compared to what's on there. Now that's the first thing that I've noticed right when I opened the box. Now this looks more like a silvery color, and if you get it at the right angle, maybe you'll notice a tint of purple. I really wished it was a darker purple. It just looks perfect that way. Maybe they just don't want it to compare right next to the iPhone's purple, because that looks fantastic. So this will have to do for now. Hopefully the next iPad will have all these included in one, and that would pretty much be my perfect device that I would keep forever. So these are all my opinion of the perfect iPad mini and all the things I dislike so far of this device, although it's really hard to pick out. Now just the way that it fits in my hands is just so perfect compared to the previous iPad mini with the notch at the bottom and the notch at the top. It makes me just really want to go out there and grab a few more for different parts of my work. But anyways guys, this should be it for this video. I don't want to stretch it out for too long. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and guys, once again, this is John. Peace out.